Welcome to Reality Equates to Inspiration with Elisa. I'm happy once again to be here, yet with another chance to share now on a very different topic. I'm certain the topic that I'm going to share today, most of us are familiar to it, and maybe we have encountered experiences with it once in a while. So I want to thank you and appreciate you, of course, for having continued to like, share some of my videos, and also comment, and those other people who try to bring in some pieces of advice. Of course, I appreciate all of you. So today I got something that I feel we need to talk about. Yet, yes, I know I'm not the first time to speak about this. Many people have spoken and given their ideas about this, but now I'm also coming to give my personal, contribution, or how I see it, so that to a person or many, they can benefit from this. Now, today's topic is about patriotism, and of course we all know, or anyway, most of us know, and maybe some other people might not know, or might not understand really what patriotism means, or even what is the advantage of patriotism, or why does someone even need to be patriotic. Yeah, I know many people have different questions. They say, anyway, we are using with this patriotism. Anyway, what is patriotism? Anyway, but patriotism is very important. It's a very important aspect of life. I will, of course, begin with what it means. Of course, what does patriotism anyway means? Because to me, I describe or understand patriotism as the feeling of one's love toward his country or his nation, not even a nation at large, but as a society, or from his infancy ground, his love, his devotion and sense of humor and attachment to one's society or country. That's how I perceive patriotism to be. Now, who is that patriot? Because we need to also understand who is the patriot. Of course, a patriot is someone who should unite people, someone who should put differences aside, but in respect or in favor of their country. If not the country, their societies. But of course we say a country because it unites everything. But patriotism, that a patriot, someone who is a patriot, is someone who should be able to internalize, understand, and unite, bring people together for a cause of the good of the country or the society where he or she, of course, comes from. When we talk about, of course, patriotism, it is a combination of course, of very many things. Of course, many different languages, of course, ethnic, political, cultural, and historical aspects, and many other things that you and me know. That is the comparison of patriotism. Now, the reason why I felt like I needed to share about this with you is the way how us people have taken an extra mile in being, in fact, unpatriotic. First, ourselves, because even the Bible says that love one another as you love yourself. Definitely, you cannot love a colleague or a friend if you don't have love for yourself. So when you have love for yourself, you are able to extend that love to other people. And now, in a very same way, when we have this love for our country, love for our societies, love for our groups that we are in, even love for the places of work that we are already in or scattered in, that is patriotism. because we are able to have a discussion that is, you know, in favor of each and everyone, not uh, self-centered discussions. And one of the good things with patriotism is the way how it shows you the other side of the story. It gives you a background to understand that it's not all about you. It's even all about your neighbor, your friends. Because as a country, to move forward, it doesn't need you alone. Definitely, you agree with me. It needs me, it needs you, it needs very many other people who combine together and make a nation. And so, if we are to love something or develop something, either economically, socially, even culturally, we need to first embrace that we need to be patriotic. Ourselves first, extend the patriotism to the society, and then later at a national level. Because some people, you know, they always ask themselves here and there different questions. Anyway, you find someone is very corrupt, and they say, no, this government is very corrupt. Of course, the government is you and me and many other people, but you find someone who is corrupt now is someone to be as a government. In fact, the Banyankore say, ngo watwarana mugongo arumisabona. I learned hearing about that proverb, meaning that whoever, you know, conceives as a heel makes other girls, you know, or be, you know, questioned, or you know, being harassed or being treated as if they are the ones also who conceive. Meaning that someone takes something, a corrupt person makes the whole society suffer, makes the government be, you know, thrown onto insults and etc. But you find someone is an individual. And this is the person who goes, he does his things, he doesn't care, he doesn't, in the first place, love others. Because if he did love people, he would have done what exactly is expected of him. And he would have done something that is in favor of everyone. And that one brings the unpatriotic, you know, feeling. Even other people will say, you know what, anyway, someone else is doing this, someone else is being corrupt, and anyway, they are enjoying, they are benefiting in their corruption, in whatever they are doing. But the point of the point of discussion, you find that they are self-centered, not even extending, you know, some of these things to the society. And yet you find mostly this, that they anyway still all do what is always for the society. And now, going back now to the discussion, so someone who is patriotic, someone who is having that passion to be patriotic, is going to see himself as someone who is part of the society. Because when you are unpatriotic, you have a feeling that maybe you are out of the equation, you are out of the society, and yet at the same time you benefit from the society. Therefore, one to be patriotic needs also to have a feeling that yes, I belong to this group of people, I belong to the other group of people, so that there is inclusivity in whatever they are doing, and thus giving us a ground for us to be patriotic. And patriotism does not mean, by the way, that you need to also focus maybe in one area. No. When you extend love to other people, when you build, for example, an environment that is self-sustainable for people to live in harmoniously. For example, you may plant trees, you know, you may coexist in clubs, organizations that bring help to the societies. You may do all sorts of things that you know that can contribute towards patriotism. And through that, we are able to live in a very decent environment. We are able to live in a very decent country. And that will put us in a position even to develop, because when we are able to cooperate, to love each other, to love our country, to love our societies. You cannot be loving something and then you do contrary to what you are loving. There definitely you need to do something that is so good, interesting, and good in eyes of everyone. And when that one is already portrayed, it means now that the development, of course, of the society or of the country or organization is going to be fair. Love is paramount in each and everything that we do as far as patriotism is concerned. But when you at least have that love and you add loyalty for what you're believing in or for what you're fighting for, call it a society, call it a country, and then you have that sacrifice, it takes you a distance, it takes you to a feeling that yes, you own something. And when you own something, you don't destroy it, of course. You have to make it interesting, you have to make it favorable for each and every person to enjoy, and of course it is going to be interesting at the end of the day. Then we have responsibility, we have discipline and duty. One of some of the values of this patriotism, when you have responsibility over something, when you feel something is attached to you, because give an example. If you're a parent and you have a child, and maybe you've got a responsibility of course paying school fees, but you cannot pay school fees each and every kid if your kids are not paid for. You have the responsibility over your kids. So in the same context, if you are responsible for your country, for everything you're doing, you must have that sense of responsibility. And when you have responsibility, you must do things right, because you are supposed to be in position to cater or to take care of something. And if you are taking care of a country or the society or a group, then it means you need to take a very interesting responsibility. You need to do something that is positive towards that society. Then of course, there is also like national pride. You have the cultural roots and heritage. Some of those things, and in fact, let me talk about this as well. When a patriot, to my kind of understanding, if you're a patriot, you need to keep some of the cultural values. These days, you find some of us have gone an extra mile, even to emulate society. For example, people have emulated the Western culture. Someone puts on something, they dress, they go on the street, and all is well. They don't care, even if they are decent, even if they are not. For them, they don't care. Why? They are failing even to. For example, like now, as Africans, you have the African cultural way of wearing. For example, someone must not show some parts of the body, but of course they are not going to respect that, because maybe they are emulating other societies. I was told back, when we were still young in lower secondary, someone was telling us that for you, you put on balances. Do you know why balances are on? Some of you put on mini skirts. Do you know why? That's because maybe there is someone who said that, you see, some of these places, especially in the Europe, there is when you find that in summertime it is too hot and people try to put on almost freely. They put on clothes that are so light, or even they are on their beaches, and they are trying to there is too much maybe of heat. And anyway, that was someone's perspective as they were sharing with us. But of course, he or she may be true of that perspective. But if he is true, and you find maybe someone puts on something because of the weather environment, and for you here there is nothing, just because you want to copy and test someone's kind of exercise, definitely you end up doing something that is contrary to what you need to be doing. And when you do this, you find that you will be contradicting, absolutely, you will be contradicting with, of course, your cultural values. And when you contradict with cultural values, it means now some of people even are disowned in societies. They say, this person, the way he or she is taking himself or herself, we are disrespecting with him or her. And you find that that one also costs you. And then, and on another hand, in patriotism, it has a relationship with godliness. Because the way how I understand, a godly lifestyle is to live harmoniously with people and do things that are appetizing, that give people a chance to coexist fairly with each and every person that they are trying to coexist with. I would love to also share about what do we benefit from this. Of course, what is the importance anyway? Why do we need patriotism? Patriotism, help us to be royal. Patriots are royal, their motherland or their country where they come from. Someone will not bring on, values from other institutions, from other cultures, and you are royal to your motherland, and whatever you be doing, you feel so attached. Because royalty is when you find you are attached in something and you really can't do without it. It's in you. It's anyway. It's in your blood. And more so, there is love and affection. This is the love for the country, and of course, its citizen. When you love, you are patriotic. You find that you have the love for the country entirely, for the citizen, of course, and for your also fellows that even are near you, because it doesn't mean that when you're patriotic, you need to love your country, you need to love citizens, and then you ignore maybe people who are around. No, it carries its own, it takes it all, and it is real love. Those are some of the fruits that come from that. Also, it helps us also, of course, in ending evils, because when someone is patriotic, they love one another, they are sacrificing for one another. They can, it means the evil, for example, murder, some of these other evils, they are minimized, because when someone is patriotic, is able and really available to even influence or advocate for the better living of each and every one of all the citizens in their countries. And of course, it helps one participate in the country's development. Take an example. If someone is talking about, let's say, the good things of patriotism, someone is, let's say, sponsoring, for example, like kids who are needed. That is a patriotic heart. And of course, when you sponsor them, they go to school, they access maybe medication, they access good standards of living. Definitely, the contribution that you have made in those kids definitely is going to be standing out. And also, of course, when we are patriotic, we are able to even support the government through paying taxes. Of course, someone will evade the tax, and they say that, anyway, why do I even need to pay a tax? Why do you find that there are struggles here and there? But of course, they are not being patriotic. They are not feeling it. They have these questions like, maybe paying a tax is like something that I'm doing force-free, and it's not going even to help. And you find we are losing the point out of that. And also, of course, it helps us to obey the laws, to understand the views to know the laws that are governing us, and through that we are able to live harmoniously and coexist with each other in a very good way. Then we have, of course, the economic welfare. Of course, I talked about that. When we are patriotic, we are able to say, since I can pay a tax, then I am contributing towards the development of the economy. If I am, not collapsed, if I am not collapsed, I'm trying to make sure that I save those resources that are meant for a certain development of the country. And collectively, when we add these things, we are able to come up with a situation that is so, good for each one of us to enjoy. Therefore, as we move, as we think, as we do whatever we do, let's keep in mind that patriotism is something paramount, is something important, and I like it when it is even brought into institutions. You find that in I remember I used to be in patriotism in my high school. Yes, but in some of the values that we were talking about are some of these values that I was sharing, of course. But what it nurtured me into is to be someone who is feeling for my country, who is someone who should be there to, some of these days people say, they say like someone has put on the body for me, and and in the same way you need to for your country, for your friends, for the people that you live with, and then that will boost, of course, a collective development that will help us, to move on as a country. And therefore, what I would like to implore is, in fact, the government should even take a step, by the way, to continue bringing some of these programs, especially some of these clubs like Patriotism Club. They need even to come in lower primary schools, so that someone is grounded from when they are young and they are able, to catch up with some of these values. Because these values, at the end of the day, we are the ones who benefit from them. Because when I do good, you do good, and we find that we are living in a society that all of us are doing good, then it was the advantage definitely to all of us as a country and as a people. I want to, as I'm concluding this discussion, I want to give an example. For example, Uganda is known of one of the dirtiest countries, for example. Like, for example, in East Africa here, I think I have not known maybe some of these other East African countries, apart from Rwanda, of course, which is a bit, smart. Even its research shows that. But when you go to Uganda, some of the places, you find places are so disorganized, very dirty, and people don't even care. You're driving, someone gets a bottle, they throw away. You're doing, you've eaten something, your leftovers and packers, you throw everywhere. And you find that our environment is polluted with too much of these, polythene bags and whatnot. And you find someone also is claiming to be a patriot. And some of these things, we take them lightly, because if you see someone, of course, not minding to care, you also don't care. And that culture, when it grows, definitely it will be leading toward an environment or a society that is, that is dangerous to live in, definitely. Because when you find that us, the interest is not to care, to me, to make concern, then I think there you will have missed a point, and you will have not contributed towards your country. Because there are very many things, there are very many ways of which you can contribute to your society, to your community. And I believe that from this, we are going to be able to share ideas, to talk about what we can do to make sure that our societies are developed, but with the heart and the point of patriotism. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Please, I want your advice, I want your information, I want your comments to throw in there, and we discuss about some of these things. But because this is what makes us, when we keep sharing some of these things, we are going to be able to learn, of course, from them, and we will be able to transform our societies through those kinds of lines that help us, of course, to move forward as a country. Thank you for thank you for listening in, and please keep on subscribing to my YouTube channels. You can follow me on Twitter, and of course my name is Elisa, and the channels, of course, and pages and handles all are in my name, Elisa. Of course, you will be able to have the interesting of these stories, and you will be able to share, to understand maybe, also make me understand some of your perspective towards some of these topics we share. Otherwise, thank you, God bless you. I see you in the next video.